Hello guys, this is IntoCryptoSpace. Let's talk about Crow with Knife. CAW. What is up, everyone? It has been a crazy 48 hours. Let's talk over some news, some updates, and what to expect coming into this week. Alright, so let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Destruction, the CEO, after a month and a half, has finally sold. Posted currently, we have some of the comments that he had prior to the sale and what he said during and after. One of the things before it started pushing up to those all-time highs where I believe even Destruction didn't expect it to get to at that point, at least not within the first 24 hours. And he had come back and said, enjoy the dip. Then, as he normally does, he kind of de-escalates it. It kind of turns it into a little bit of a meme thing. I'm sure the community was behind him. Everybody thinks he deserves to sell off, right? And then there's two ways to go about it. You either sell in batches, which right here, I won't say what he says, but he doesn't approve of selling in batches. Yes, you would make more money in the long run, but you would really kind of hold down the project as you continue to sell off your bag. So he opted for the full sell. He also explains that he hates sell pressure, that it's boring, that selling in batches isn't the best way to do if you really believe in a project. And then he had tried to explain himself going at a diamond hand from 3K, which was his initial investment. And at one point, it had pushed up to 1.8 million. And then he said, it's kind of hard, And I think anybody and everybody can relate to that. Out of all the swings this past month and a half, we've seen it go up to 18, down to 6 mil. We've seen it go back up to 15, go back down to 9. At whatever point, he made sure that he didn't sell at all, right? So before you judge him, think, what would you do? Could you have waited so long? And really, this whole community, team, and project is really behind him from the start. We believed in him. He started the meme culture, the environment, the positivity. It really did seem like at one point he really kind of studied how to run a meme project. And at this point, like all of the other top meme coins out there, guys, there's no set CEO of any of them. Once they've gotten up to a point where they can get on their own feet, now they're doing it, and it's all community driven. All right. And that's the biggest thing with any meme coin. It's community driven. It's not brought on by a single entity. So in some ways, this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. Okay. So let's talk short term. Short term, if he doesn't come back Monday, this would be seen as a negative, at least for the community members that have been here for the month and a half that really kind of depend on him for guidance, right? But at the end of the day, the slew of liquidity, the slew of holders that we've gained within the last 48 hours, they haven't really gotten any of that taste from him. They don't really have that dependency from him. So with that being said, quite bullishly, right, CDC owns a majority of the supply now. Along with that, if you guys recall, 2 million, if not more at this point, I think it's pushing up to 3 million, is provided by VVS/crypto.com as locked liquidity, right? So as of right now, this isn't getting much lower. I think we saw our low of 26 mil after the CDC listing and the sell-off, the original sell-off. But to think about it, we're at a 4.4 million currently in terms of liquidity. And 2 to 3 is locked. So guys, this isn't getting much lower. Things haven't changed. There's a lot of room for this to go up and not so much more room to go down. So to get back to that, Monday, we're either going to see Destruction come back and still play a part in the community, not as a leader, but as a community member that people respect, people listen, people follow, right? And short term, if he does come back, this is going to fly right back up, right? This is going to fly right back up because people are now, it's not that, it's like that suspicion of it all, right? He's gone for the weekend. Normally, things tend to drop when he's away, and everybody should have times where they can enjoy themselves, their family, their life, whatever it is, and get back to it all, right? So for the last 4 weeks, he has made a point to enjoy 1 to 3 days maximum away from the whole DeFi space, all right? And that's admirable. That's honorable. As he comes back, things start to get hyped up again. People get back into the project because, again, it adds validity. Okay, I can trust him. He's back. He's back another week. He's back another week. All right, I like it. I like that energy. Now, the thing is, what's different from this time than the last couple of weeks, the last month and a half, is he's not, quote-unquote, financially liable now. He has sold the bag, all right? And even though in the long term, it's not going to matter, in the long term, it's about the community, short term, it will affect whether or not this kind of hinders the progression, or it will escalate it, because if he is back and he's back in Discord, things are going to get hyped up. He might actually even continue talking about the next T1 listing. Speculation of as of last week was Binance. Who knows though, right? I'm not here to give you copium, hopium, whatever it is. I'm here to try to be transparent and talk to you all and try to inform you as much as I know, right? I still have a bag. I sold a little bit of profit and just dispersed it. Like I said in the first couple of videos, when talking about getting into this project, spread your seeds, right? So there's a bunch of meme coins, tokens, projects, and the whole Cronos chain looks good right now. So what did I do? I took some profit. So first of all, transparently, I took my original investment out. That is safe. That is in Cronos. That is my quote-unquote safe play. Like Bitcoin, I think it's going to go up, but that's safe. Then I took a little bit of profit and dispersed it amongst 3 to 5 different projects, because you got to plant the seeds. Plant the seeds like I did with Crow with Knife. And I was very much satisfied with the results. With that being said, the bag I have remaining left, right, is a big moon bag. And there's still potential, there's still chances that this goes up tremendously. It's just a matter of when. And I do think that when really pertains to if destruction comes back tomorrow, or it's going to be a couple of weeks from now where, this starts to really start building up momentum again, because the community is strong. It still has that vibe, that feeling that I got from day one, right? And I'm sure anyone can attest to that. Again, like any project, any meme coin, you look at the charts of them, there is multiple times where whales currently dip the hell out and they sell. That's okay. And what ends up happening is that new whales see that as an opportunity and they come in, and then they push the price upward into all new all-time highs. It's a waiting game at this point. At the end of the day, as again, I always say in my previous videos, you have to have conviction. So for me, I have conviction in here. I believe in the project. I believe in the community. I have such a strong feeling about this, right? Beyond that, I know the fundamentals, right? The fundamentals were set up in this project weeks ago. It's across 4 different chains, pushing up to 5. It's already on 2 T1 exchanges, potentially 3 as of the end of next week. This can only get so low because there's a floor when it comes to the liquidity, so it's not going to drop to 0. You already know that. It's not going to go to 0 ever again. As far as I know, it's never going to hit the 17 million market cap again, because that's what it was before the injection. An injection that was 5 times more of the liquidity, that's locked for a year, guys. For a year. We're in the midst of a bull run. There's still so much room for Bitcoin to go. And when Bitcoin goes up, guess what's happening? Cronos goes up. And Cronos, as you guys may have known, CAW, Crow with Knife, is pegged and paired with Cronos. So therefore, that's a separate entity really pushing the price up. So at the end of the day, strategize. At the end of the day, are you convicted? And at the end of the day, I like to make sure that I have financials and set in order so I don't get emotional. 10% drops are normal. 30% drops are normal. And in some cases, when whales drop out, that's a 50%, 70% drop. But guess what? Those are golden opportunities. You want to see a big fat red candle. And I agree with destruction. The selling of batches throughout a period is horrible. At least when there's a big red candle, you have a bunch of people that see it for what it is, as an opportunity to become the new whale and really get in at discounted fire sale price bargains. So make sure you strategize, always have a little bit of money on the side. And I am waiting. If this drops back to 26, if this drops back down to 30, I am comfortable. Because you know why? I am convicted. The last 24 hours, the last 48 hours actually, when it hit up to 80 mil, I was working a double at the restaurant. Unfortunately, I couldn't really pay attention. I've been really busy. And then outside of that, like anyone should, I touched grass. I enjoyed myself. I spent time with my family, my girl. We enjoyed ourselves. Now we're back at it, and I'm here to cool the nerves. All right, so moving on. What to expect this week? Outside of destruction, where you have to strategize accordingly, there could be a dip tomorrow, right? Because if destruction doesn't come back, a lot of people are going to sell, see that as an opportunity. Beyond that, right? Last week, while he was still in the project adamantly that we knew of, he might still be. We will find out tomorrow. But with that being said, he had mentioned that the next T1 listing was paid for. That it was paid for. And up until that point, actually, it hasn't been proven otherwise yet, right? Because he could still be back tomorrow, right? But everything that he has said, he has done. Everything that he has promised, he has pushed for. And it is forthcoming, right? So, as far as I know, as far as I've been led to believe, through experience, through examples, through perseverance, it should still be paid for. And that, guys, will be legendary. I think with the correlation between two events, with destruction coming back tomorrow, along with that T1 listing, this will easily be over 100 million by the end of the week. Again, that is my opinion. Use it as entertainment purposes, right? Do not use that as financial advice. Do your own do your own research as financial advice, because the last thing I want to do is make people emotional and overly invested, right? But that is my strict opinion on it. If we can get both those catalysts, we are looking good. Along with that, like I said, we're in the midst, we're concurrently in the bull run, and we're waiting for Bitcoin to break out. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the market. I think there's been one Monday out of the last 4 months that Bitcoin hasn't rallied. So, with speculation on Bitcoin going up like it has, right? If it can start pumping, along with that destruction comes back, along with that he can confirm, or later in the week that T1 listing does happen, guys, we are looking good. We are looking real good. My speculations as of earlier, I thought we were going to drop a little down lower, right? Like underneath the 40 mil. Because this morning at 50 mil, a lot of people have that kind of suspicion. And that's understandable. And then it starts a little bit of a downtrend. Along with that, I believe a lot of the market went down at the present time as well. But eventually, it's going to get to a point where people are going to buy back in speculation that he returns tomorrow. In speculation that the markets push up. And in speculation that T1 listed that was mentioned, was paid for, did actually happen. And it's just a matter of when. People are making sure they set up their positions now so they don't regret it later. Sellers from today and the day before are probably worried and ashamed that they didn't get back in at a lower point, hoping that it might have gotten down to a lower point, and now they can't. And what's going to happen is that if that FOMO starts to happen, this is going to push well over 50 to almost, who knows, but it might actually get back to 60 by the end of the night, or at least early morning tomorrow. As far as I know, to inform you guys, 2 to 3 a.m. Eastern is usually where I see those first couple of comments and messages from Destruction. So hopefully when I wake up, I see a couple of messages. But at the end of the day, like I say, this has already lifted, has gotten a life of its own. It's on its own feet. This is on the basis of the community now. So if he doesn't return, it's not a big deal. I think it just stalls out the process a little bit. Right? Bullishly enough, right? And I will mention one other project. You know why? Because it's bullish as... I won't say it. I don't want to get demonetized. But check this out. So as far as I know, these are the 5 that I've seen. There's 5 iterations. Everybody knows Ryoshi, right? It was, I believe it came out 3 weeks after the launch of Crow with Knife. But since the listing of CDC, there is Crocodile with Knife. There's Dad with Knife, Squirrel with Knife, and Cat with Knife. So there's right now 5 iterations of the original Crow with Knife meme. We are that number 1. If you guys recall, Shiba Inu, Doge, when Noah started popping off, there was iterations across the chains, across the blockchains. And that is super bullish for the original, the starter. And that is Crow with Knife. This just means how powerful the community is, how powerful the projections for the project is. This should reassure all of you. Now, to end this with a couple of statistics and, just updates on the project itself. Volume is looking sexy across the board. Bitmark is leading the charts. VVS, Crypto.com is a small percentage of that, but they have a majority of the liquidity, the supply, which I'm fine with, right? Because in conjunction of VVS, a lot of that is locked liquidity, which is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And we'll absolutely take it. So in the last 24 hours, 13 million in volume was from Bitmark. That's absolutely insane. VVS following second with 10 mil. And this is crazy as we go down. All the foundations are set. In Jupiter, all these outside chain dexes, they're going to start pumping as soon as we start hitting certain levels. Liquidity is going to be pushed for by the community to these other ecosystems, but just a matter of time. I've always been saying that the team has worried about setting up the foundation prior to doing anything crazy, because when you're in a certain ecosystem for a while, transparently, I was a big BNB individual. That was my trade of choice. And if I couldn't get it through the BNB chain, I made sure not to mess with anything else, because God forbid you press something, the wrong link, and you connect to the wrong thing, game over. So you gotta set up these foundational checkpoints across the chains to make it easier for those individuals like me. I was lucky enough to get into the Cronos chain, get comfortable with it, and I hope I can continue and help other people to do so, because once I feel really secure here, not to preach overly about it, but I'm happy to be here. So if anyone is ever a question, feel free to hit me up. All right. I feel rather comfortable here. Great community, not to jinx it, but, and not to give some type of stereotype to BNB, but the amount of projects I haven't seen rugged is astonishing. Because I was so used to that on the BNB chain. I don't think I can ever go back, to be honest. But with that being said, yeah, guys, stay convicted. I'm still here. I will still be here. Let's go. Let's get this past 100 million. Let's get this to be the next billion market cap meme coin, organically by the community, by the team, by the project that hits the Cronos chain. And guess what? Right before the mist of an all-time high of Bitcoin. Funny enough, it seems like the community has heard my CAW, as we have rallied over almost 10 million since starting to make this video. Let's continue doing what we're doing. As always, guys, do your own research. Don't use this as financial advice. This is purely for entertainment purposes, but I remain transparent with you guys. This is IntoCryptoSpace. Until next time.